The night was quiet in the countryside. The wind moved through the wheat fields, making soft, whispering sounds. The moon was full and bright, shining on a lonely farmhouse. Inside that house lived a man named John Miller. John was in his early 40s. A few years ago, he made a terrible mistake. He killed a man in anger. For that crime, he went to prison for 5 years. While he was locked up, his wife left him. She divorced him and moved far away. When John was finally released, he had no family left. The only place waiting for him was his old farmhouse, sitting alone among endless fields of wheat. He told himself he would start over. He would be a farmer again. But the nights were hard. The silence of the countryside pressed on him. Sometimes he thought he heard voices outside the windows, sometimes footsteps in the dirt. He told himself it was only his imagination. One evening, just before the sun set, John built a scarecrow. He hammered a wooden post into the soil, stuffed old clothes with straw, and tied it all together. For the head, he used a sack with 2 big black buttons for eyes. He cut a crooked smile for a mouth and pressed an old floppy hat on its head. "There you go," he said out loud. "Do your job. Keep the crows away." But when he stepped back, something felt wrong. The scarecrow stood tall in the fading light, and John swore it looked alive, like it wasn't just straw and cloth, like it was watching him. A chill went through him. He shook it off, spat on the ground, and walked back into the house. That night, the wind blew harder than usual. John lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Then he heard it, a slow creaking sound, as if wood was moving. It came from the fields, closer and closer to the house. His stomach tightened. He told himself it was just the scarecrow swaying in the wind. Still, it took him a long time to fall asleep. The next morning, when John walked outside, he stopped dead in his tracks. The scarecrow was standing differently. Last night, he had left it with its head leaning to one side. Now it faced straight toward the house. Its button eyes were staring at him. Its stitched smile seemed wider. John narrowed his eyes. "No way," he whispered. "I must be remembering wrong." He turned away, but then he heard it. Voice, soft, dry, almost like a whisper carried by the wheat. "John," he froze. His heart skipped a beat. Slowly, he turned back. The scarecrow stood in the same place, still as stone, watching. John shook his head. "You're losing it, man. Just tired." He went back inside, but the thought stuck with him all day. That night, he stayed up late, drinking whiskey at the kitchen table. The house creaked, the wind howled. Then came another sound, slow, heavy footsteps in the dirt outside. Step, step, step. John gripped his glass tight. The footsteps reached the porch. The wooden boards groaned. Then, the doorknob began to rattle. John grabbed the sickle he kept near the door. His breath came fast and shallow. But just as suddenly as it started, the noise stopped. Silence. He waited, sweating, until the first light of dawn. When he opened the door, there was nothing, except a single black crow feather lying on the porch. His stomach turned. He marched to the fields, ready to end this madness. The scarecrow was there again, standing tall, but now one of its arms was stretched out, pointing toward the house. John's anger boiled over. "You're not real," he shouted. "You're just rags in straw." He raised his sickle and charged at it. He slashed through the scarecrow's chest. Straw burst into the air. He struck again, cutting off its arm. He ripped the sack head from its shoulders and threw it to the ground. "There, you're nothing," he screamed. Breathing hard, he stumbled back, convinced it was over. The scarecrow was torn to pieces, nothing but straw and cloth on the ground. That night, John sat in the kitchen, drinking heavily. He told himself it was done. He destroyed it. But as the clock struck midnight, he heard it again, the dragging footsteps. This time, closer. He froze. The sound came from inside the house. from the hallway. Step, step, step. John stood, sickle in hand, trembling. The kitchen door creaked open, and there it was, the Scarecrow, whole again. Its button eyes gleamed in the dark. Its stitched mouth curved into a wide, unnatural grin. John screamed and swung the sickle, but the Scarecrow caught his arm with a hand that felt like cold, rotten flesh. With terrifying strength, it pulled him close. The smell of damp soil and blood filled his nose. The Scarecrow whispered in a hollow voice, "You killed before. Now it's your turn." He gasped, his eyes wide in horror as the life drained from him. His body dropped to the floor, blood spreading across the wooden boards. The Scarecrow stood still for a moment, then slowly turned and walked back out into the field. By dawn, it was in its place again, standing tall among the wheat. Its button eyes stared toward the farmhouse. Its stitched smile was wide and cruel. And from that day on, no one in the village ever saw John Miller again. The wheat fields remained, with the Scarecrow watching, always watching. Now, subscribe and like to save your life.